You can't count on things happening tomorrow just because they happened in the past. It's faulty logic. This video will contain spoilers for Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate from Kate's Culture, in case you don't already know me, and I love talking about books. Today I will be talking about Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. A fun fact about this book is that it is currently being made into a movie, and the last time I checked, it is set to come out in November of 2026. I found this book because my boyfriend was talking about some of the casting for the movie coming out next year, and I was like, what book are you talking about? I've not heard of this book. And so I looked it up, and that is how I found this book. So Sunrise on the Reaping focuses on Haymitch Abernathy's story from the Hunger Games world, and specifically set his Hunger Games is the 50th Hunger Games, which is the second quarter quell. If you are unfamiliar with a quarter quell, this is brought up in Catching Fire during the 75th Hunger Games. A quarter quell occurs once every 25 years, and they are meant to be like a special sort of Hunger Games to remind the districts of their insubordination. I just have to say, I absolutely love the details of the quarter quells. Before the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes came out a couple of years ago, I actually used to go read about all the previous Hunger Games on like the Hunger Games wiki page to just get as many details as possible, because I was really fascinated by how the arena changes every year and how the quarter quells were special games that didn't follow the typical rules. So the first quarter quell in year 25 is that all of the districts had to choose the tributes that were reaped for the Hunger Games. The 50th Hunger Games quarter quell, which is the one for the Sunrise on the Reaping, is that there are twice as many tributes reaped. So there are 2 girls and 2 boys from every district. And then I feel like we all know the 75th one. All tributes are reaped from the existing pool of victors. So I already knew a little bit about this book going into it due to the provided lore by Suzanne Collins and what I read on the wiki pages, but I was so excited to read this one because I was just absolutely fascinated by the story and the arena and how there were twice as many victors from years ago when I had originally learned about it. So I was really excited that this actually became a book. So since I'm still working on different formats for the videos, I'm going to give a quick little rundown of this book for a summary. As I mentioned, the quarter quell, twice the amount of victors. Haymitch is there because he interfered with some peacekeepers, so he ended up being one of the tributes from District 12. He leaves behind his mother, called Ma, his brother Sid, and his one true love, Lenore Dove. And yes, in case you were wondering, she is a little descendant of Lucy Gray Baird from the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So once they're in the capital, they do all the tribute stuff. It's not as fancy as the Hunger Games, but it's not as run down as the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's a good in-between for them still developing like where they stay and all sorts of facets regarding their time in the capital before the Hunger Games. So, as we all know, the end of the book, because Haymitch is the only living victor from District 12, you already know how the Hunger Games is going to end. He's going to win, but it really has you on the edge of your seat for, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Is Haymitch going to die? Who's going to win? Like, you're really rooting for all the different characters that you get to know, and you also are worried for Haymitch. Haymitch actually spends a lot of time working and meddling in the arena to try and blow it up due to some outside people he meets before the Hunger Games trying to defy the Capitol. But when he wins, he finds out that they're skewing the footage, so it looks like he's just a little rascal kind of boy. This kind of makes him a pawn of the Capitol in the end. He is punished by being kept in isolation for a lot of time after the Hunger Games. He's not sent home. He's just left alone in the apartment where he stayed before the Hunger Games with his fellow victors, and he is there absolutely 100% by himself for like 2 weeks, if I remember, and then paraded around the Capitol and eventually sent home. And unfortunately, when he gets home, they find out his house is on fire, his mother and brother die. He wanders off to go find Lenore Dove, and she ends up being poisoned courtesy of President Snow, which we all know likes to poison his enemies. My thoughts on this book, I've got to say, I really, really enjoyed it. I think it took me about a week or two. I don't remember exactly because it has been a hot minute since I read it and decided to record this. But it took me not very long to read. In fact, I read 150 pages in the first sitting for starting this book because it was just that good for me. And as I mentioned, I was fascinated by the Quarter Quells years ago, so I was really excited to just really get the ball rolling with this one. I would be really interested in reading more Hunger Games novels, like these prequels, that have to do with the other tributes like Finnick, Wirus, Beatty, Mags, like just knowing their stories and what they went through. And if Suzanne Collins was ever interested in writing those, oh my gosh, I would be in line to go get them. I really enjoy this. I think these books are, not just this one, but like all of the Hunger Games books, obviously, are very kind of politically charged. And I just love the details and how she incorporates them and how kind of real they can feel at times. I really liked in this book, Sunrise on the Reaping, how Plutarch was included and how he came off as yet another just capital guy who doesn't really understand or care about the districts, but still told Haymitch how he also craves his own freedom despite having such a luxurious life, that he's still being controlled and he doesn't have the kind of freedom he wishes he had. I don't have too much to say about this book because I loved it so much. I think a lot of my videos are just kind of talking about the different facets of books, like even though I liked them, talking about things I didn't like about them or just other little details here and there. This one I don't have too much to say because I just loved it so much. I really didn't have any problems with it. I really loved the characters and how they stay true to themselves while also formed a bond together. I love the character development and just understanding why they are the way they are. I think they were really well written. Like, you can tell they have a past and it only comes out when it's necessary, but also not in an unusual way that's just like, oh, they just threw that in there for the plot. But it's like, well, you're finding this out because of the plot, but it's not there because you need it for the plot. I think they were all really deep and I really enjoyed that. And they were written in a way that felt like their actions and reactions to things made sense in a way that actual people would react and not fictional characters would react. It seemed logical. I know that so many books have romance in them. I honestly feel like I think I've read very little books that ever had a non-romantic like subplot in there. Like there was always a little bit of a hint of a romance somewhere. And of course this one has that too with Haymitch and Lenore Dove. But I really liked how that was kind of sidelined a little bit. I do love a good romance book. That is one hardcore thing I absolutely love. But I just so much enjoyed the adventure and the high stakes of this book and the politicalization of it, I suppose. I liked the romance aspect because of the parallel between Haymitch and Coriolanus Snow from the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, because they both were in love with a Covey girl. The Covey girl causes problems, but she's just all around great. You root for her. And it was just really interesting to see how that played out in this book, the way that President Snow has changed from the first prequel to this prequel, and how it provides fuel for a fire at the end of the novel, and how much of a grudge he still holds toward his own past. I know I didn't have a whole lot of thoughts on this. Again, I just loved it so much that I just gotta say, you guys should go out there and read it. It is just so good. So, not a whole lot to say except this is great. I absolutely recommend this book. I think I haven't read the original trilogy since, I don't know. I honestly want to say I haven't read it since high school. And for me, that was quite a few years ago. So I think I want to go back and reread those one day. But this one is just so good. I read Ballad a couple of years ago. I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. Like, it was about a year or two after it came out. And again, even though I did know the ending of the book because you already know that Haymitch is the victor, you're still going to be a little on the edge of your seat wondering what's happening, and if he's going to survive this. Yes, I really enjoy this book. I totally think you guys should give it a shot, and I can't wait to see the movie come out next year. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. Go ahead and follow my Instagram and my Goodreads to check out more stuff or just a little behind the scenes of what's going on and to catch up with what I'm reading or see past things I've read. Both of those will be linked down below in the description box, and I look forward to sharing some more stuff with you here in the future. Bye!
Das war schön.